Thank you, Dean. Thank you, President Kelsey. And this is an honor to be here. I am a proud alum of the University of Washington Evans School. I think I finished in 2000. And I've always cherished my time at that school, and I've kind of made a personal vow. Anytime the Evans School calls, I'm gonna pick up the phone. I'm going to do what they want me to do because I gained so much from that experience. And so kind of my public service journey, and I love how the dean framed it, that public service is not a vow of poverty. It's not this thing that you are placed into a box that you can only engage on certain questions at a certain level, and that particular worldview I completely want to turn upside down for everybody. And so whether you're a political science major, Randy, or a biomedical engineering major, you have an obligation, frankly, and you have the skills deep within you to figure out where's your place, where's your voice within the community context. And so my journey, I think about it, it wasn't a straight line. And I don't necessarily believe that anyone has a straight line and kind of where their path, their career journey will lead them. I'm a first-generation college graduate. My father is a retired military man, met my mother in Korea. I was born in Korea, came to the U.S. when I was 5 years old. I moved to Seattle right after I finished college in Oklahoma, because I wanted to be in a place where I thought embodied my values around how this world can be and what it should be, but also recognizing that it's a dynamic place. And so when I think about this region, this community, I think about all the things that have come out of here: Boeing, Microsoft, Amazon, the global health revolution, all the things that are coming out of the University of Washington, pushing the envelope. This tiny little place in the corner of the world, sometimes I make fun of us, I call it Southeast Alaska, because we do occupy really unique geography, but we project so much because of this real dynamic, of ideas, of vision, of values that we're trying to project to the world. I moved here because I wanted to be a part of that. And so my journey also looked at the question of money, and what money and economics do to people, do to families, do to communities. And being a first-generation college graduate, I was literally one cousin removed from being involved in the criminal justice system, being able to find a trade that allowed them to move on. And so being in that question of, or wanting to explore the question of money and economics and where do people find themselves was so important. This past couple years, COVID has really exacerbated the question of wealth, the wealth gap, the racial wealth gap. Who's winning, who's losing, where are families going to be able to find that question of intergenerational wealth? That has been the thing that has really guided, frankly, my question and my career journey. And I've had the fortune of being able to work in the state legislature for a number of years, work in the private sector, work for local government, and now in my current role, and being able to see that question in so many different ways and how it impacts so many different families. The vision that I have in my current role is twofold. And here's another thing about me is I really do not like when people frame things in a zero-sum way. Growing up, my personal background, navigating a lot of diverse communities, trying to find bridges, find connections, I refuse to look at the world in a very closed-loop, zero-sum way. And so the question that has been posed to me: can we have prosperity? Can we have equity? Are these choices? Are these false choices? And I believe them to be a false choice. And I think there's something unique about our community that we can have prosperity we can have prosperity and also bring along as many people as possible and have them tied to this economy. And when I talk to families and individuals, the thing that they tell me is like, look, I want a house that I can afford. I want good schools for my kids. I want a job that allows me to think about the next generation. That is an almost universal mindset when it comes to how folks want to be tied to this economy. And that is the question that I've been wrestling with my entire career. And so when I think about, I have a young daughter. She's a freshman in high school right now. And we had this amazing conversation where it was kind of late at night. Her bedtime, even though she's in high school, so her bedtime is 9:30 because sleep is really important to everyone. So we were talking, she said, Dad, is this, like, what's the point, right? What's the point? I was like, what do you mean? It's like, this is getting deep on a Tuesday night, young lady. I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna go to college, get a job, meet someone, marry that someone, maybe have some kids, and then what? And I was like, it was a gut punch to me. It's like, okay, I started thinking, okay, what am I doing wrong as a father? What's going on here? And then two, it made me wonder, like, is she alone? Are other young people thinking this way? That the problems that we're facing are so deep, so challenging, so entrenched, because we're bombarded with so much negativity, so much of the challenges, and that was a bit of an eye-opener. And so a couple weeks after that, I decided to take her and a couple of her friends, and we went to, I'm on the board of an organization called Fair Start, and it's a group that really focuses on helping low-income individuals, formerly incarcerated individuals, formerly homeless individuals, get training and access to job opportunities in the broader food industry. And I went and said, look, here's some volunteers that are part of this organization. Here are the folks who work at this organization. Here are the folks who are direct beneficiaries of this program. Like, they're in this, and they're finding their own way. Again, we don't have to, you don't have to split the atom, to make an impact. Where along the path within your interests, your ability, that drives you and will allow you to activate your deeper sense of community. You've got to find that. So I kind of threw it back on her. It's like, that could be a path for you. It's in my opinion, kind of a gloomy path. But along the way, there are going to be moments where you're going to be asked to help your neighbor, help your community, go testify, become a nonprofit executive director, whatever that may be. At some point in your life, you're going to be asked that question, what are you doing for your neighbor? And I try to think about, when talking to my daughter, acknowledging, yes, the challenges that are out there. But then there's moments of brightness that we have to shine a light on. So she sees that. And in the darkest moments of COVID and the pandemic, when we saw communities come together to think about this public health crisis as a way to kind of galvanize, there were moments where I was able to translate that to her. And so I left those conversations with her and her friends feeling a little bit better, but also I have a responsibility to make sure that that next generation sees that, again, this is not some vow of poverty, that we all have a stake in this, and that we can't just let someone else do this. And there is agency, and there is a sense of ownership for all of us. So I salute all the students that are part of this program. I thank you for your investment into this program. The University of Washington is such an important place, gathering place for folks to think about big things, to find themselves, where are they in that question, and then ultimately act. We have to act. And that is the only way that we're going to remotely address the big issues that we're all confronting. So I'm inspired by everyone that is in this room, and I hope to continue being an active participant in the change that we all want to see. And again, I thank you all and look forward to more conversation. Thank you.